Hi, Teresa, can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, Shannon.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I opened it, 10 minutes ago, and then it just didn't refresh, I think, when the webinar started. So I'm here.
We're good.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's NBAR meeting. We will now go through public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to speak to a subject that is not on today's agenda? Please do so now.
Chair Michael, we do not have any public comment.
Okay, perfect. We'll go now to member recusals for today's meeting.
I have to recuse from number one.
Yes. Okay. Anyone else? All right, we'll move on now to the agenda status report.
We have no changes to the agenda.
Perfect. As part of the mailings, we received the minutes for July 25th. I'd like to now ask if you'd like to make any adjustments, additions, revisions to those meeting minutes.
I had no changes.
Okay, perfect. Neither did I. So with that said, I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes for July 25th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll now go to the NBAR members' informational briefings. Has anybody any contact with applicants, supervisors, planning staff? Okay,
The personal storage project, number two,
yes.
Francis did call me just talking about process of how things move through the BAR.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Then we'll now move on to staff update.
I do have one for you, and it's regarding long-range planning. So long-range planning is doing a workshop for the planning commissions on September 24th about an ordinance amendment package that does have some small changes to the design review processes. And you can reach out with any questions to Ben Singer in advance, and also reach out to him to RSVP for that workshop. And so I'll be in touch with Teresa to get you his contact information and these details in an email following this meeting.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I do have one more comment.
Okay.
In the past, we have encouraged people for the oak tree mitigation stuff to do larger trees in lieu of the 10-to-1, doing like 3-to-1 with 36-inch boxes. For the Apollo project, the Planning Commission actually supports that now. They verbally said that they like that idea. So it's not just us talking anymore.
Is that better for survivability?
It helps the applicant put their investment in their property, and it's more survivable. It is easier to monitor. In the past, you'd have to put in 1-gallon seedlings in an area and they'd be spread out, and who knows if they'd get grazed over by cows or deer. And the survivability rate was questionable. And then the applicant would have to pay for monitoring. Somebody actually go out there and count them and see what survived. And if enough didn't survive, then the clock started all over again.
Wow.
So this makes it easier on the applicant and on planning staff to monitor what's survived and been in there, so that when it comes time, the bond can be released simpler.
Kevin, was that the Constellation project or
Constellation? Maybe that was the planning commissioners apparently said they liked that idea, putting the larger trees on that site. So hopefully that idea continues.
Very good. All right. So with that out of the way, we'll move on to the very first item on today's agenda. 25BR 00058, the Arctic Cooler sign and light pole. With regards to this, we just need final approval. I mean, I was okay to give final approval last session,
We
so,
have this final approval.
right. So with that, yeah, because they don't necessarily have to be here to do that. So we'll ask for a motion to grant final approval to item number 1, the Arctic cold sign and light poles.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Arctic pole sign and light poles as submitted and as constructed.
Okay. Can I get a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving on to item number 2 on today's agenda, 23 ABR 00186. The Murdy, and I apologize if I'm getting that wrong, the Murdy Farms Personal Storage. Is the applicant available? And she is walking in the door right now. We are ready for you.
You're up.
Security, so my apologies.
Well,
No apology necessary.
okay,
I did leave my mason today.
good for you. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for the record and begin your presentation.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Frances, Senior Planner with TW Land Planning and Development. I'm here today to represent the.
Give me a second, Francis. We need to turn on your microphone.
Oh.
There you go.
All right.
Take 2.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Frances Romero. I'm a senior planner with TW Land Planning and Development, and I'm here today to represent the Orchid Self-Storage Project. I thought my planner was going to be here today. I guess not.
He's online.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't done one of these hybrid virtual meetings. I think this is my first NBAR meeting here in the Lakeside building. So usually it's the more intimate setting over. I guess those days are gone.
That's a while ago.
Well, that goes to show how long it takes to get a project moving. At any rate, Aaliyah is my planner and Gwen, her supervisor, have been very helpful. We had a different plan for today. The owner applicant, Scott Newton, was going to be here, but he's had a death of a very close family friend, and he is in the valley today for a funeral. And Locke Soderquist, who is the project architect with LSA, got a last-minute call last night from another jurisdiction demanding his presence at an all-department head meeting this morning for a project that has been held up on construction. So you have me today. So I will do the best that I can with the project. This is great. Just to orient you, the project is known as Keysite 10. It's located at 5175 Bradley Road, which is kind of at the corner of Bradley and Clark. It's located right behind the Starbucks at the top of the dip. So that is the commercial development that currently fronts on Clark, and then the building to the right at the corner there is the Starbucks. Our property is the vacant green space there, and that's looking north. You want to scroll down for me to that is looking to the west of the site. That's the area that's proposed for development. It's kind of the flat portion of the site at the top of the slope. And the next photo, please. And that is looking south, going down to Orchid Creek. So Keysite 10 has 2 parts to it. There's a parcel north of the creek, and there's a parcel south of the creek. It's all known as Keysite 10. We are only looking at development on the north side of the creek at that top portion. Just to give you a little bit of background on what we're doing and why. Well, number one, the property is zoned PD, and that is generally a residential zoning. But PD also allows for self-storage. but it's only allowed in conjunction with housing. So in Orcutt, there are no self-storage facilities. All of them are located in Santa Maria, which means that anyone in Orcutt has to make at least a 1-hour round trip or more, depending on where they're going. So we initially requested a text change to the PD ordinance to allow self-storage as a standalone use, not in conjunction with residential development. Now, we all know what it costs to build houses in our county. So what developer is going to do a tract and then also build self-storage in that tract? They're not going to do it. They're going to go highest best use and they're going to build all homes, which is why we have a lot of homes in Orcutt, but no self-storage. So after exhaustive review and many attempts to do it that way, we ended up agreeing to do a rezone to commercial for this northern part of Key Site 10 to allow the self-storage use to occur with commercial zoning. We also have a text amendment beyond the general plan amendment and rezone because the Orcutt Community Plan is old and it is not always workable for sites, which is why you've seen quite a few projects come through with requests for revisions. So what we're asking is that we can put flood infrastructure, a shallow basin, at the base of the slope where the water's going to flow, where it's been flowing all along, so that it can be treated before it gets piped to the creek. Currently, because there's a 150-foot open space buffer at the creek, we are prohibited from putting a private basin in that space. However, the county is allowed to put emergency access, trails, and any flood infrastructure that they'd want. So we're just asking for the ability to put private flood infrastructure in the same place that the county can put flood infrastructure. And the last thing that we are asking for, the Orcutt Community Plan identifies a 3-acre portion at the northern part of the site for development. Our development footprint is 2.9 acres, and we're doing that with the use of retaining walls. However, we don't think that 7 and 9 foot tall retaining walls are attractive. So we are asking to reuse some of the site cut to fill the slope going down to the creek, basically recontouring the slope so we can reuse the cut on site. And that reduces our retaining walls down to like 2 feet along the southern portion of the project, which basically are going to virtually disappear once the landscaping is in. And we feel that it makes a superior project, but it does require us to amend the text of the Orcutt Community Plan to go from 3 acres of development to 4.97 acres. Our basin is about 9/10 of an acre, and we've got about an acre of fill on the slope. So those are the changes that we're requesting in order to create this project. And now I guess we can talk about the project. What I did do was I put a fact sheet together for you guys because I know that there's an awful lot of information on the plans. We had a lot of, we've gone through one round of review and we did receive an incomplete letter, which as you know is pretty standard. So what we've done is we're getting ready to resubmit and we have changed the project. You should have, I believe, the most current plans in front of you. Things that I'm still hanging on to the past a bit. I did bring some paper, but the fact sheet is the first sheet. I also have an email from Locke Soderquist that I will not necessarily read to you, but provide highlights from that talk about how we arrived at the important thing that we're here to discuss today, which is the architecture.
Francis, have all the documents in this packet, have they been submitted to us for review?
These are aids for me, so no, but I have a copy for you.
Okay.
So just to recap, we're requesting to go to C3 zoning. I've talked about the text changes. The slope on the site is 10 to 30%, and we are not developing or proposing any development on any of the areas that are 30%. The development envelope is 2.9 acres. The total site disturbance is 4.97 acres. We have 20,500 cubic yards of cut, and we have 13,750 cubic yards of fill, of which we're importing 2,500 cubic yards of engineered fill because of the soil characteristics on the site. So we have a net export of 6,750 cubic yards. The basin, as I said, is about 90,000 square feet. We have 36% of the site will be impervious and 64% pervious. Our retaining walls will range from 4 feet 1 inches, 194 feet of the retaining wall, which are mostly at the northern portion of the site, will be a little taller, 4.1 feet to 9 feet tall, and that does include the 18 to 24 inches required for footings. Our building footprint is just over 54,000 square feet across 3 structures. The buildings we're proposing are 2-story, but they do kind of fit into the slope. So they have the appearance of 1, 1.5, and 2 stories, depending on the view. So we have about 102,000 square feet. We're going with neutral earth tone palette, 606 storage units. 103 parking spaces are required by the code, and we are requesting the ability to provide 67 spaces. And the reason for this is that this use is one of the lowest, most benign uses you can put in an area. The traffic is low. The water usage is very low compared to residential or any other use. Based on our traffic study, only 55 vehicles will go in and out in a day. So we feel that having 67 parking spaces, especially when you're looking at 10 peak hour trips or 7 peak hour trips, is more than reasonable, especially when this is not a high employee generator. This is not an office, and that's the parking standard that we are kind of stuck with in C3. C3 kind of envisions, people coming and working in an industrial setting, and basically people drive in, they drop stuff off, pick stuff up, and they drive off. So we are requesting about a 35% reduction in parking as a result of this use. We estimate we'll have 1 acre-foot of water a year is all that this site will need. That's pretty much evenly split between the office on site for the restrooms and sinks and the landscaping. We are providing a solar array and battery storage. And we're also proposing 6 5,000-gallon water tanks to retain and store rainwater to augment the landscaping in just during and throughout the year. Before I go any further, are there any questions? Mr. Small?
Did you turn that on?
You're green.
With all that parking, is that a paid storage?
I'm sorry,
Is
is
it
it
an option for people? Can they store vehicles there?
in the
Is it all
actual
indoor
unit?
storage?
It's all indoor storage. So thank you for that. There is no outdoor storage proposed. It is all indoor storage. And when I talk about the design and how the doors and things have been laid out, I think you'll see that from somebody casually driving by, they're going to wonder if it's a school or a nice apartment. This is not the unfortunate typical storage facility of yesterday. This is definitely a modern storage facility, but we are proposing no outdoor storage for vehicles or RVs or anything like that. Locke provided an email that I provided to you in your printed material called Design Bullet Points. And the design is agricultural inspired in character. We did a study, looked around the area, looked at the Albertsons Shopping Center that will be across the street from. And the inspiration for the forms that are being used and the materials have come from barns, wineries, farm buildings that are definitive of the Orcutt area. We have simple gabled roof lines, minimally articulated facades, and a palette of earth tone metal siding and roofing to create proportional massing that is compatible with the surrounding landscape. These elements elevate the architecture beyond the typical storage facility and establish a visual connection to the community's agricultural setting. To reduce visibility and preserve the character of Bradley Road, the buildings are sited below natural grade and aligned parallel to the slope of the land. This balances cut and fill, allows the project to follow existing contours, and screens unit roll-up doors from public views because the roll-up doors will be facing inward of the site. The gable ends are oriented toward Bradley Road, presenting articulated elevations that limit visual impact and provide a refined frontage. We have a generous landscape buffer of trees, hedges, and layered plantings that are provided along the site perimeter to further screen activity and soften the transition between the project and the surrounding environment. Together, the agricultural massing, lowered siding, and enhanced landscaping create a facility that blends into the landform while supporting community expectations for high-quality, context-sensitive design. I don't know if we've got, do we have any of the elevations here in the plan set that we could toggle down to? No, let's see. Are the visual sims included in this package? I mean, we have the actual elevations there. Let's see, landscape. Oh, I see what you've got up there. Site photos. I do not see that. In your packet, there are two 11 by 17 images.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes.
With regards to the information that you've handed out at today's meeting, is all of the information that you've handed out part of the submitted?
No.
So
The plans are.
The plans are?
Yes.
Okay, the plans, but the photos?
the photos are not.
Those are not.
So
Which
but
photos are you referring to? The,
the ones you just held up,
yeah,
so with-
they were submitted to the county already.
but they were not part of the
No,
noticing for
apparently
the
not.
project.
Aaliyah, is there a way you could speak on this?
Yeah, so everything that you have up there at the top, Teresa, is what was submitted. So number 4, site photos, is what we were provided and what was uploaded to the box folder. I'm not sure what's in the packet because I haven't seen that, but if those are the same photos, we did receive them.
Okay.
So the photo simulations that they provided are not part of the packet that was turned in?
I did not resubmit to NBAR. No, I did not.
Okay, then we can't use them.
Okay. Well, then we'll see you next time with them.
Okay. It appears that, I mean, you guys are agendized for conceptual review,
Yes.
but you've gone well beyond that as far as the presentation is concerned, the drawings and things.
We have been in process for almost 2 years as a result of negotiations and discussions about changing from our original project, which was to just do a simple text amendment to the PD zone. That process took about 8 months. Then we resubmitted our application. We received our incomplete letter. And then there was a disagreement over how drainage could be handled. So we went through a several-month-long redesign trying to put underground storage at the top acreage rather than having a basin at the bottom.
Mhm.
And then based on the soil study, the geotech said it was not allowable because of the volume of drainage that we needed to retain at the type and the soil quality. So then we went back through a third process to then move the basin back down at the bottom of the basin. So we have had a lot of just how is the site even going to function? And, truly, we probably should have gotten here sooner. But the actual vision for how the buildings would work and how things would look has been fairly stable. We've not really, this is what we initially submitted. My client has done storage. He has the storage facility up at the Shea Homes project, Monarch Dunes Trilogy. So he has the storage project there along Highway 1, right next to the homes there. He also has another one in Morro Bay. We have also gone through another extensive permitting process in the city of Atascadero. So from the standpoint of buildings, he kind of just goes all in right out the gate because he wants to do an elevated, high quality product.
Okay. Is there a grading plan?
Yes. That should be included in the civil plans.
Civil number 2, yeah. So with regards to this, and you are tapering down from building A to building C,
Correct.
and it looks like there's a 10-foot fall between the buildings,
That,
the roadway, looking at the contours on the access drive?
I believe so. I believe in the landscapes, I'm sorry, not in the landscape, in the architecture set on A102. So if you go over to the A102, the above the grade lines are all labeled there. Parallel line, we've got a 25-foot maximum height. And there should be some labeling there that's helpful in seeing how the project's, there you go, that's a good one.
Yeah.
How the project steps down.
So it looks like the top of the buildings of building B are below the level of the street, below the level of Bradley, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And the photo that I couldn't show you that I'll bring back next time, I've argued with my client about it because he did an aerial photo sim and I kept telling him, you need to do it from down. He goes, well, I don't want anybody to think I'm hiding anything. I mean, Scott is one of those rare clients that I've worked with for several years now. His ethics and integrity are incredible. And like I said, I told him, when we come back next time, we've got to do it from a car or pedestrian scale. He goes, but there isn't anything to see. And I'm like, that's exactly the point. So this is going to be a project that you're going to drive by and you really aren't going to see it.
What's the percentage of the slope?
It ranges between 10 and 30.
Those are like, that's about 3 to 1.
Yeah.
The overall project slope is about 10%.
Right, I'm
For that area, yeah.
actually the architect for that building above the white one, like 100 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, so I don't know if the very top one is even a little lower than that building or not. I mean, I was looking at that view from, just the site photo. I'm like, we might actually be a little lower than that.
What about on the driveway egressing onto Clark?
Mhm.
That's not Clark, it's what is it?
Bradley.
Bradley, yeah. Are you gonna be able to make left-hand turns out of there?
I think so. We have a traffic study on that. I could put that down on my,
Looks like, I mean, that slope is significant down there.
it might be a right out only. I would have to look at that. I haven't looked at that in a while.
I know they have left turns and right turns out of the shopping center across the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah, and we're aligned with the driveway right across the street.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
And first of all, I'd like to live here. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. I hope that ends up looking exactly like this. When you come back, will you be giving us indications of where the lighting will be going and where signage will be?
There should be lighting on this round of plans because that was one of our incomplete items. So let's see what sheet it is on. There, like I said, the plans have an awful lot of information on them. 103 has the lighting. Yeah, there we go. So we do have the typicals for the lighting fixtures and where they'll go.
Yeah, on sheet A101, you've got the light pole locations, building lights indicated on
Right.
that.
Let's also note on this.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have the site lighting. So yeah, we have the A101 is the street lighting for Bradley. And then on sheet A103, we have our lighting plan for the structures. As far as signage goes, we've talked about it. I've advised my client that it's one of those things that there's a process for. And you can't see the building from the street. So putting signage on the building isn't going to be good.
Or
And
the entry.
but now he's thinking about the entry and he's not so sure that he even needs the signage. So if we do signage, we would come back separately for that after we see how things are functioning.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
a couple things for me on the lights. One, the wall lights are dark sky, but the on-site light poles are not. Is that accurate?
When you say they're not night
Well,
sky?
On detail 1 on A103, it shows dark sky conformance for the wall
Mhm.
sconces. It doesn't have anything for the light poles.
Okay, I can verify that. I don't, if it's not there, I'm sure it's an error because we're definitely aware that that's a requirement, but I can check on that.
Okay, and then one of the other things was exactly what you mentioned about the rendering viewpoint. For me, I'd like to see it at street level or in the car level.
That's what and I've been lobbying for that for about 1.5 years.
And then the last thing for me was just the large expanse of roof plane.
Yes.
I think it's 65 feet wide by whatever length the building is. It's almost similar, at least I'm envisioning similar to the building that's at McCoy and Miller. It's a church there, very large. Not McCoy, is it McCoy? Miller, right? The roundabout, there's a,
Right by the-
yeah,
There at the start.
That's
just a very, very large roof plane. So those are the things that I'm seeing for me right now. That's pretty important. But I do like the look of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On your grading plan,
Yes.
it shows, and I want to thank you for that there is some contour to the land. It's not a flat engineered slope. And I would encourage you to keep that, please. Maybe even do some more if it's possible.
And we do plan to revegetate that as well. I mean, the idea was to make it look natural, not make it look, and because we're never sure what decision makers will want to do or not support, we also provided an option that we will be resubmitting to the county next week with our reply to the incomplete letter to say, okay, we've got 2.9 acres for our built environment. Everything that's landscaped and within our fencing is 2.9 acres. We can make a very gentle rolling slope with, walls that basically no one can see. Or if you don't want to let us go to that 4.97 development area, even though it's a one-time disturbance for the fill on the slope and then to create the basin, we can maintain the 2.97, but we're going to have really tall retaining walls and it just isn't going to look great. So
Is the extent of your grading down to the creek setback? Or does it stop short of that?
it stops short of that. We're about 25 feet away from the creek because we're also having to maintain a corridor where a trail could go between the top of bank setback and the edge of the basin. So I think we may actually, I had asked for a measurement to be, Let's see, I know I have that information because that was really important to parks because they want us to
Is the
maintain.
trail switching to that side.
Well, that's the interesting thing. We're not being asked to dedicate a trail easement. We're being asked to produce an offer to dedicate in the event that they're unable to obtain the preferred trail alignment to the south of the creek. Then they would come back and there would be enough room and they'd have the opportunity to do a trail on this property.
Is the south side a separate legal parcel?
Yes. And fortunately for us, this has certificates of compliance for our property, so we didn't have to go through a mapping exercise or, so we already had certificates of compliance.
Question, is the project climate controlled?
I do not believe so, but for Building A, which has the offices in it.
The reason I ask is the trend with a lot of these developments is towards climate controlled because of the quality of things people are storing. And I was curious if that was the case, what would it do to the roof line?
That's a good question. I would imagine it would change it quite a
I would
bit.
think so, yeah.
Yeah, we've not had any climate control discussions for this particular site, but there are offices in Building A. So at least that area would be climate controlled for the office.
You might want to think about that as an option, just
Yeah.
for people storing their wine collections.
And that's something, yeah, that if you have large warehouse building sizes and storage capacities and you climate control them, how hard would it be for a truck to get down there? And I'm not talking a pickup, I'm talking at least, a commercial vehicle that would carry bottles of wine and want to store them. It looks like, the turning radii and probably wouldn't allow truck traffic.
Well, they'll allow a fire truck.
Have to allow for a fire truck.
Yeah, and all of the circulation is one way, so it's all going
Okay.
clockwise. We're not allowing two-way.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, because if you're gonna condition it, you're gonna open up to heavy wine storage.
A lot
yeah.
of building to condition.
And you'd
Yeah.
also be able to charge a lot more if they're climate controlled.
Yeah, but most people don't need that.
I have one other comment, and this will go to the view from the road. You might want to consider the view from across the creek, the residential area,
Mhm.
looking down at that. And a visual sim like what you produced
Mhm.
would go a long way to helping those people understand what they're looking at.
To the people south of the creek.
South of the creek.
Got it.
yeah. All that residential that's up there.
Yeah.
So.
This is the starting point. This is pretty exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so everything you want to show us, you need to submit that.
Got it.
As you are agendized for conceptual at this point, do you guys have any other comments?
No, I think what Tom said here is look at the roof line a little bit more.
Okay.
And overall, I think it's a really good project, good starting point.
Yeah, I do too.
And study the egress and exiting out of the site.
Yeah, and we did have a traffic study with Stan Tech to go over that because we had some initial comments from Roads Division. So the site distance and all of those issues were fleshed out and addressed. As far as the roof line goes, I think one of the things that, I mean, not saying that they aren't big buildings,
Yeah, especially I guess.
but based on their orientation to Bradley and then the colors that we're using, and then as you saw how it steps into the side of the hill, they are kind of the color of dirt, and that's what's there now. Not that that's a great architectural term, but you got the planner today, not the architect.
No, I think that's a solid start on the project.
Thank you.
All right, question. As their agenda is for conceptual, do I need to open it up to the public? As far as comment is concerned? Is there anyone that would like to speak? Attending today would like to speak to this item?
Aaliyah, the planner, she might have some comments to share.
Okay. Aaliyah?
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, or try and clarify. So this is a development plan application. It's because the site is zoned planned residential development. It's being proposed in conjunction with the rezone application and a general plan amendment to change the zoning and the land use designation to something that allows this use, which is a personal storage facility. Like Francis mentioned, this site is part of Key Site 10, and it does have a policy that says development shall be limited to the northeastern 3 acres. I think all of the plans that were presented here are for a design that has a development area of I think it was around 6 acres. Is that right, Francis?
Overall disturbance is 4.97 acres, and we're proposing 2.9 acres of structures, driveways, landscape at the northeastern corner of the site.
Okay, yeah, so our code defines development as including the graded disturbed area. And so that's why I think in the civil sheets, there's one sheet, I think it's C1B, that does not align with the rest of the designs. I think that's what I'm trying to point out. Is that right, Francis?
Right, and my apologies, Aaliyah. I thought I was going to be able to resubmit our incomplete reply this week, but because of a variety of things that happened, I've been unable to get a final sign off from my client. That additional sheet is the way we're sending our project description forward for environmental review and for review by the Planning Commission. We're including an alternative that if for some reason decision makers don't want to allow the one-time fill of the slope because that's just too much, we can have a 2.9 acre site. It's just that we wanted to disclose and show how much retaining wall there's going to be. And there's going to be retaining walls up to 9 feet tall along the southern edge of the project if we're unable to contour the slope and make it look good. So we don't want to get in a situation where we get to hearing and it's like, well, we just can't change that 3 acre policy. And then we're another year and a half going back and forth. So we're trying to circumvent that. So that's why, Aaliyah, you've got that one sheet that's just kind of hanging out there that's not consistent with the rest of the project, as our goal is to provide an option, not our preferred option, but a alternative that can also go through environmental review.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and so I was just going to point out that alternative, whether or not it seems as if the current primary design is for a design that doesn't meet that 3 acre policy. And so the application, our understanding is the application will request to amend that policy, which would ultimately be a decision for the Board of Supervisors.
Correct, yes. Yeah, we want a 4.97 acre project. That's a superior project, at least in our opinion, for appearance and for limiting visual impacts to the community around the project. But we also know that, decision makers are not predictable.
Leah, as a board member, I would support the grading of the slope and not the 9-foot walls.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't see the windows on the what type of windows? That was just one last comment.
They're clear story windows and they are on sheet A301 for the building A and B exterior elevations and on sheet A302 on the building C elevations. So we've got clear story windows along all sides of the structure.
Okay. No, but I meant called out as part of your specified,
They're right.
those are the doors that,
But now that's a door.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good catch. I can get, you're right. We need to get a window detail on there.
Yeah. Looks great.
Okay.
Difficult sites and
I'm sorry?
it's a difficult site.
It really is, and I think that goes to why it hasn't been developed for the last, 50 years.
Right. And I think as far as Kevin's comment, that's supported by the entire board
Oh, yeah, definitely.
with
Well-
regards to the contouring of the site.
Well, we would certainly appreciate your support for our preferred project. But, given the fact that we've spent about 2 years trying to make it work and trying to stay within as many of the Orchid Community Plan parameters as we could. But when we finally got to the drainage situation, can't change the fact water runs downhill. There's a creek at the bottom of the slope, and that's where the water's going to go. But we did try our best to retain it up top and figure out a way. And the geology of the site just doesn't work with the soil type.
All right, well. Any final comments before she?
This is the good stuff.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
And
we
then,
appreciate it.
Michael, for the record, I just wanted to say that there was no public comment.
Yeah, thank you for the record. Well, thank you very much, Francis. I think, the only comments were about the study of the roof lines and that articulation. As a board, we fully support the contouring of the site to get to the preferred design. And we look forward to seeing it for preliminary and final approval.
We're very much looking forward to moving forward.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As this is today's last item on the agenda. Shannon, do you have any final thoughts for us on any upcoming meetings or what we should be looking forward to?
I don't think I have any updates related to items that had come here recently, going to hearing. Well, the FAMCon project that was, across the 101 from Orchid, that did get approved by the board just, I think, on Tuesday. And the Constellation project that was mentioned earlier is going to have a board hearing scheduled in the coming months because the Planning Commission recommended approval. But I think I had informed you guys of that already. So that's the latest on projects, and I'll work with Teresa to get you that email on the workshop with long range planning.
That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, and then at this time, I'll ask for a motion to close today's meeting.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
I don't want to. I've got work.
You actually work?